All right, so this is where we left off in the last video. We were able to create our search function, get the data we need from the URL string, and then we can make our requests with the search API data. And we're just console logging the results. Now, there's just a couple things we need from the results, so I'm thinking that we should just destructure and pull out what we need, which in this case is going to be results, because remember, it's an object that has an array called results. So that's the actual data, that's the array. I also want to get the total pages, and I also want to get the page number. And we don't need this just yet, because that's going to be for pagination, but we do need results right now because we're going to display them in the DOM. Now, I just want to make sure that there are results. So let's just say if the results, remember that's an array, if the length of that is equal to 0, then let's use our show alert, and let's actually, you know what, first of all, what is going on here? This is wrong. I just want to check something. When we show our alert, we didn't pass in a class. Did I have that just on the alert class? Let me I forget what I did here. Yes, I did. Okay, so I think that we should change this, because remember, I want to be able to, oh wait, we have an alert success here. I created this style sheet quite a while ago, so I have a bad memory. But what we could do is, yeah, get rid of the background red on the alert. We shouldn't have that. And let's just test that out. So if I do that, okay, so now there's no background color, but what we can do, since we have that alert error, in fact, let's just make it error. And we'll make this one success. And then that way, when we call it, so let's see, let's go back to search. So when we call it here, we'll pass in a second argument of a class of error. So now if I save that, now it's red. All right. And again, you don't have to do that. You can set it up any way you want. But if I wanted to pass in success, now it's green. So we'll do it like that. So now if the results length is equal to 0, then we'll just say no results found. And I'll pass in, actually, you know what we'll do is we'll set it to a default of error. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of thinking on the spot here. But for show alert, we'll make this class name by default, we'll make that error. So that way we don't have to actually pass in error to get the red background. But if you want a success, you can pass that class in. Okay, so now let's get back to what we were doing. That was kind of an aside. Say no results found, and then we'll just return. And then if there are results, then we're going to want to add those to the DOM. So we'll have another function called, let's say, display search results, and for that we're going to pass in the results. And I think another thing we should do is just clear the input. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm going to. So I'm going to say document.query selector, and let's select I'll select by the ID of search-term, so that's the input. And we're going to set the value. So dot value, we'll set that to nothing. All right, now let's go right under this, and we'll go ahead and create the function to display the results. So let's say function display search results, and that's going to take in results. Now, results is an array being passed in. I want to loop through it and show these cards, which is very similar to what we did with the popular movies and popular TV shows. So what we can do is just copy let's go up to not the details. So we could do display popular shows or display, let's do in display popular movies. We have results that we're looping through. So I want to go to the end of this for each, which is right here. And let's grab that whole thing. So this results for each. And then let's bring that down to our search results. So right here, and I'm going to paste in that results for each. So now we just want to go through, we do want to create a div with the class of card. And then for the inner HTML, so this is where we need to change things up, and it has to be dynamic because it needs to handle both movies and shows. So right here, instead of going to movie details or TV details, what we can do is get whatever the type is from the global state. So we can say global.search.type. So if it's movie, then it would be movie details. If it's TV, then it'll be TV details. Now here, now instead of calling this movie, because it could be a show, we're going to call it result. So then let's change this to the result ID. And then for the path, we'll change this to result, because we're checking to see if the result has a poster path. Now here we have movie title, and this is where it gets a little tricky because a show doesn't have a title, it has a name. So we need to make this a conditional, and we can, once again, we can check the type from the global state. So we'll say global.search.type. If that is equal to movie, so if that is equal to movie, oops, we want to use a ternary, then let's do result.title. Okay, else then we want to do result.name. So does that make sense? Whatever we choose here is going to be put into the global state in the type, and then here we're checking that type. If it's movie, we're going to get the title because that's what we get back for a movie from the API. If it's not movie, meaning if it's a show, then we're going to use name. And then we want to do the same thing with this alt. So I'll just copy that, put that there. And then for the title or name, we want to do the same thing. So let's just grab this. So everything in the curly braces, and copy that and put that in here instead of movie.title. Now for release date, there isn't a release date field for shows, but we do have a first air date. So we'll do kind of the same thing here, right? So I'll just, again, check for the type and say if it's movie, then we're going to do result release date. Release, is it, yeah, it's underscore, right? Underscore date. And then else, so if it's not a movie, then we're going to do result dot, and I think it's first underscore air date, which is still the release date. Okay, and then down here in the query selector, instead of popular movies, you want the ID of search dash results. Now, right now, at the moment, we have dummy data in here. So let's go to our search HTML, and everything that is within these, where is it? Right here, this div with the ID of search results. We want to keep this here because that's what we're grabbing onto from the DOM. That's what we're grabbing onto here, and then adding the div inside, or all the divs. So let's get rid of everything within this. So we know that this ends, oops, this ends way down here. And don't take the last div, where it's ending div, but everything inside. So let's see, right here, we want to get rid of all that. Okay, and we'll save that. So let's see, right now, we have nothing here because we didn't enter anything. Let's say Goodfellas. All right, so we're seeing the title and the release date, but the image, we're seeing the alt data as well, but not the image. And just see, failed to load. Okay, so it looks like it's searching for W500 and it's undefined. So it's undefined because result, we need result, not movie. And then we need to put a slash after that. For some reason, I thought poster path already had the slash / included. But let's save that, and now we get our 2 results. If we search for orphan, which is, there's a lot more results, there we go. And it's going to be, what, 20 per page. Our pagination obviously doesn't work, but we'll be adding that soon. But we're seeing the release date as well. So title, release date, and the image. And if I search for a TV show, so let's say, I don't know, The Sopranos. If you haven't figured it out, I like mob movies. So that gives us just a single result. That's why it's so big. And if I were to click on any of those results, it takes me to the details page. All right, cool. So if I search for a movie that doesn't exist, like SWS, we get no results found. So everything is working as it should up to this point. I think what we'll do next is work on the pagination, because this only shows us 20 out of, what was it, like 160 results. And you don't want to show all that stuff on one page. What if you have like 1,000 results? So we'll get into pagination in the next video.